All right, what is the next headline for this?
The champions.
All right, so Champions League first set of games just took place. We had Manchester United take on PSG yesterday as of recording. Also, FC Porto versus Roma. And then we had today Borussia Dortmund versus Tottenham Hotspurs. And then the other game that was on was Ajax versus Real Madrid. Real Madrid won 2-1. Spurs won 3-0. Roma won 2-1. And PSG won 2-0. Let's just give like a quick summary, and then we're going to talk about how they should handle the game moving forward, I guess. I think this is the best way to go about it.
Okay. I guess I'll start with the first one. I'll start with Roma-Porto, I guess. Get that one out of the way.
Okay.
Probably the weakest of the four ties that we're going to be talking about. I don't always think that the Portuguese teams get the respect that they deserve, especially a team like Porto, who's like serially in the like at least the first round of the knockout stages. But Roma, I was really pleased to see Roma play the way they did. They've been struggling a little bit in Serie A recently. If the season ended now, they would not be. I don't even know if they'd be in Europa League. Actually, I'd have to look at the table again. I think they're sixth right now, though. So maybe in like one of those Europa League qualification spots. But yeah, Edin Dzeko really tore Porto apart in this game, and he had both of the assists for. I'm blanking on the kid's name that scored the brace, but one of their young up and coming players. So it was a good performance from Roma. Porto, though, eking in with that away goal, so that definitely leaves the door wide open for them if they have a good performance back in Portugal.
I'll do United. Manchester United played PSG, 2-1 victory, like I said, where PSG, I don't want to say got by, but with the set of players, they had a great performance. They exploited United's fullbacks. They allowed Mppape to kind of he wasn't able to do everything he usually does, but making those clever runs, and the run where he scored off of basically what Mppape is great at, his pace. And United just didn't have their key players make much of anything out of their chances. And then they also had Lingard and Martial have probably strains or pulled muscles, and were unfortunately not able to play the full match. By the time, I think about 30 minutes after the game started, where PSG kind of just took the steering wheel of this game and got the 2-point lead, and then going back to PSG, obviously not very good for United. Obviously, and then Pogba also with the red card, so he's not going to be in the next fixture, and possibly not having the other two key players as well because of injury, depending on how long they're going to be out, Lingard and Martial. So going to be interesting to see how that goes forward, I guess.
So that takes us to, I guess I'll hit Ajax and Real Madrid. Ajax, a team that performed really, really well, better than most people expected. I think in the group stages, they had Bayern Munich in the group. The last game of that group was spectacular. I think it was a 4-3 Bayern win, if I remember correctly, or maybe it was a 3-3 draw, but a huge shootout that they had there. Some momentum for Ajax heading into this game at home against Real Madrid. It didn't really pan out the way that they would be hoping for. Real Madrid won their game 2-1. Benzema getting on the score sheet for what feels like the first time in a while, although I guess I haven't been paying like really close attention to Real Madrid. I think it was Asensio with the second goal.
Yes.
And then I have no clue who scored for Ajax. Do you remember?
I don't know how to pronounce that name.
All right, well, Mr. We don't know how to pronounce scored for Ajax. It was the second Real Madrid goal came really late, so Ajax were really close to getting out there with a 1-1 draw. But it's going to be really tough for them, a really tough mountain for them to climb. Like with Real Madrid having the 2 away goals and the win, it's going to be difficult for them on their return journey.
Okay. Next game was the game we watched as well, was Borussia Dortmund versus Tottenham Hotspurs, where we saw Spurs basically put down Borussia Dortmund 3-0. A game where, like again with the United game, where Dortmund was knocking on the door basically for the first 20, 25 minutes, and then eventually Spurs just took the wheel, had a goal right after the...
within the first few minutes of halftime.
First few minutes of half, Heung-min Son scored. And then another goal assist. Oh, that goal was assisted by Vertonghen. The second goal was the Llorente that scored off of a header. And then the last goal again was Heung-min Son, right?
Son, Vertonghen, and Llorente. Llorente was the third one.
So another game where Spurs basically took the wheel and kind of put Dortmund not in their place, but kind of in unfortunate circumstances because the way that second draw is going to happen. I'm a little disappointed in Borussia Dortmund because this is like a good time to play Spurs, even though they're getting by in the league. But, okay, now we're playing elite teams in Europe. How are they going to fare against them? They don't have Harry Kane. They don't have Dele Alli. Didn't unfortunately perform.
Yeah.
So going into like a preview, what are these teams like? How are we gonna see these fixtures happen, and who do you think is gonna be able to get out? And then also who's gonna be the surprise you think out of these that are behind that can have the best chance of getting through?
I guess are we gonna go in order here?
Yeah.
Okay. So for the Roma Porto game, I think it would be no surprise if Porto were to be I think this one is of the three ties. This one is the most wide open, I would say, because I think Porto obviously are a good team. Roma have shown their vulnerabilities throughout the season, especially in the league. Although they were good on this particular occasion, and they were a Champions League semifinalist last year. But that away goal. And the way they conceded it too, where it was like a botched shot that like popped up in the air and fell like perfectly in the box to like a Porto guy. Like really unlucky for Roma, but that away goal is going to keep that door wide open for Porto. So I wouldn't be surprised if they are able to pull through this. It's going to be a really tight game, hopefully a good game back in Portugal.
It seems like when you have games that go back to Portugal, they have some kind of just home field edge.
Yeah.
Whether it's Benfica or them or Sporting Lisbon. So
I think and Porto need to, what they'll hopefully learn from their game against Roma if they're going to go through is they're going to need to control Dzeko somehow, because he's a very physical presence for Roma and someone who has a lot of experience at this level with Wolfsburg and with City, obviously. So they're going to need to find some way of keeping him quiet because Roma really didn't have a whole lot going forward outside of Edin Dzeko. He was really the one creating everything for them in that first leg. Manchester United versus PSG.
No, you can keep the lead.
Oh, okay. Still me? You don't have. Oh, are we feeding back and forth off each other here? Okay, sorry. I thought we were gonna like do the same games that we did the coverage on.
No, you're doing a good job.
Okay. Manchester United, PSG. What do United need to do to get past PSG in this game? They need PSG to have about 6 injuries. I think if Pogba wasn't red carded, I would think they would still have a chance because I don't trust PSG with the players that they were missing to have another performance like they did. I think PSG played really well on the night, but the two away, like obviously PSG have the 2 away goals. United are going to need to blow them out to get through this game because I think once they'll need
3.
Yeah, you'll need to score at least 3 or two in like
and
go to penalties. Yeah,
I think United are going to have to play a different style if like we are not going to have the same guys being able to press. So I don't know what Solskjaer is going to do or what he has in his back pocket because it's probably going to be the Rashford on the left, Lukaku, and then Mata on the right, I guess. I would like to see Chung to give an opportunity for this because he has a pace. He's going to be able to press like we usually do. He's going to add that element. But we're probably going to see Mata, unfortunately. But we also might see a 4-3-1-2. Might have Mata play number 10 or number 8, however you want to call it. I think that is probably what we're going to see. We're not going to have a replacement for Pogba, obviously, so it's probably going to be Fred or Pereira. So yeah. I don't know what's that going to be or what's going to look like. It's not looking good. I obviously want United to win. I'm looking at the league. I'm looking at the FA Cup. It just seems like this is already out of our grasp, but who knows what's going to happen. Yeah,
this is the sort of game where United need to just try something completely different. Like maybe a 3 at the back, I know that's sort of tough with someone like Mppape who's just so fast. Like you need to have men back there to like help mark him. But at this point, they really don't have anything to lose by like trying something drastic to try to get a result out of this game. So that takes us to Ajax and Real Madrid. Again, we're talking about the 2 away goals for Real Madrid in this game. Is really going to be a problem, I think, for Ajax. I think you asked like which team would be like a surprise comeback. I think the next one being a 3-0 gap, I think that's going to be really hard for Dortmund. But Ajax, I think, have the best chance of getting through of the teams that are down right now. And I think that as far as like the stature of both of these clubs, I think that would be kind of a surprise, but not really a surprise given the way that Real Madrid have played at times where they've been really, really poor this season. I think that I could 100% see a possibility of an Ajax getting like a 2-0 win, even in Madrid. Obviously, they're going to need a lot of things to go their way. But Real Madrid has shown a capability this year of just like switching off. So like they're going to need to, I think, limit if you leave Benzema isolated enough, although he did score in the first leg, I think they can get away with that if they're really able to tie Asensio, Vinicius Jr., and Bale down, like going down the wings. And then, they're going to need to defend for their lives because obviously the more Real Madrid, I guess they get through with the 3-1. Well, 3-1, they would get through, obviously. They would need a 2-1 to go to penalties. But I think it's definitely possible for Ajax to get through.
Yeah, I have a lot of faith in them. I don't know why. They just seem like they have come a long way. I know a lot of those players on their team that made that European or Europa League run aren't on the team, but they still have some of those players there that have really matured. And this is their last year, really, probably going to be all together with De Ligt and Frenkie de Jong. So it's, this is it kind of moment. I feel like they're going to make it a game. That's the one that's going to be the one to pay attention to out of all the four that we talked about, where you might see one team make the best out of their chances, I guess.
Yeah. And then, I guess, quickly, the PSG Dortmund game. Really disappointed that Dortmund basically threw this tie away in the first.
You said PSG.
Oh, did I? Oh, that's because of my next point. I was thinking, I got ahead of myself in my head, I guess. Yeah, Spurs versus Dortmund. Really disappointed that Dortmund threw this away. But this is it was basically like a slightly lesser scale version of the PSG United game where like PSG were missing. Everyone is quite, with Neymar and Cavani out, like, oh, what's PSG going to do? And like giving that edge to United because of those people missing. Same thing with this Spurs Dortmund game. It's like no Harry Kane, no Dele Alli. Like how are Spurs possibly gonna compete with Dortmund? And like they ended up blowing Dortmund out of the water. And then by the time the second leg comes around, like some of those guys could be back. So Dortmund missed a huge opportunity here. I really think that 3-0 is just going to be too much of a mountain to climb for them back in Dortmund. They need to stop the crosses as best they can if they're gonna get anything done here, because I think and in general just throughout, especially the second half of this game, I think the youth of their squad really showed here and the inexperience that they have as a team. A lot of guys in their like first or second season of the Champions League. So it's going to be really tough to come back from that 3-0.
Yeah, this is the one that we probably, I would say them and the United game and versus PSG are just like kind of, that's the team that won that game is probably going to get through. They would just have like a game where it was like the Barcelona PSG game where like Barcelona put like 5 or 6 on them, I guess, to go through. That kind of performance, I don't see that happening, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Tottenham are playing professional right now, and they're getting results. They're not really grinding, I wouldn't say, but they're getting the job done. And that's what's been the real impressive part, I guess. At most, Dortmund getting like a 2-goal lead in this, and then that's pretty much, they won't be able to.
Yeah, I think the thing, if Dortmund had got one at Wembley, then I would have a little bit more. Obviously, I would have a little bit more faith in them. But if they can't keep a clean sheet against Spurs, they need 5. And like I don't see Spurs giving up 5. And they'll probably by that point have one of Harry Kane or Dele Alli back to some extent. Or I mean, honestly, the way that the first leg panned out, they probably don't even need them. Like put out a squad, defend, maybe nick a goal. If they nick a goal, like I said, Dortmund need 5. Because of the away goals rule, obviously. So it's going to be quite the mountain to climb for them.
Yes, that is a huge mountain. So that has been it for our headlines for this week. We are going to get into the last part and then get it the hell out of here.